why Elon Musk is wrong about banning accounts for supposedly doxing him. Some of them have been shown to with screenshots, some of them haven't been verified still, but that's besides the point. Let's even assume they did. Let's follow sort of the free speech train of thought that this whole purchase and situation has been about. This is a time where it's difficult not to fall into false duality, but this is where my neutrality and objectivity comes in. People on the other side who feel like they had been mistreated for so long are now going to feel like they'll cheer it on because they want to mistreat the other side. This is just as wrong as if somebody got banned for all the unjustifiable reasons beforehand. So this is where you have to be the bigger side and say, you know what? This is just wrong. He shouldn't have done it. And so if you really want to stand for free speech, this is it. And here's why. The point is Twitter is just a private enterprise. So sure, he can do what he wants with it, but the bigger picture point is it's a legal standard. The same way that, okay, incitement to violence is a legal standard. That's why Trump shouldn't have been banned, because unless that's declared in a legal setting, and even then, that doesn't mean that Twitter has to abide it. But if they're going to use that as a basis, then at least that's a criteria that they're claiming, right? They can't pretend like, oh, it's incitement, but then it's not proven to be incitement in a legal setting. So in this case, how should Elon deal with it? Like, for example, pretend it was somebody else. Pretend it was you or me, just some random person getting doxxed. Do you really think that this many accounts would be banned over it? I don't think a single one would be, or at least it wouldn't be done so systematically and so quickly. So the point is you should treat it the same way as you would anybody else. He's getting doxxed, so let's think about all the proper responses. From a Twitter perspective, maybe they could lock the tweet or delete the tweet, but they shouldn't do anything to the accounts. That's number one, right? So the biggest step that Twitter should have taken at most was just delete those particular tweets that are directly involved with doxing him, and then people could see for themselves what they were beforehand with screenshots and stuff and say, okay, that's justified or not. Banning the account seems completely out of line and makes no sense. And moreover, we're talking on a personal level, right? Again, what if it was you or me or just some random small account and they're getting doxxed? It shouldn't be that, oh, Twitter comes to the rescue and they're like a legal body, legal entity protecting you, right? Big brother, please protect me, billionaire Elon Musk or whoever, you know, beforehand, Jack Dorsey and stuff. The point is, at most, I would have said, okay, they can maybe put a warning on the tweet or delete the tweet, the single tweet itself. But on a personal level, again, what would you do if you were getting doxxed? You would probably have to go to legal authorities. So maybe Elon should do that. Use like real world options. Either go to the police or hire security guards with the abundant money that he has to be able to do that. And you might think that's an unfair claim, but that's kind of part and parcel of the situation, right? On one hand, he gets this sort of treatment and attention because of how famous and successful he is. So on the other hand, he has the resources to have 24/7 private bodyguards, private militia, whatever he wants. So you should deal with it outside of the scope of this company, right? The fact that he happens to own the company shouldn't come with any special privilege, right? It doesn't mean anything. Oh, he happens to own Twitter, so what? That has nothing to do with personal animus towards him, right? He shouldn't use that to show like, oh, well, I own the platform, so I can do whatever I want. So if people bother me in a certain way, even if it is justified, like what they're doing is clearly wrong, this still isn't the right way to go about it. You should not have just suspended accounts, and you certainly should deal with it, again, on a personal level that any normal person would have to do. Do you really think that if this same thing was happening to you, that, oh my goodness, 12 accounts or however many accounts of some of these relatively famous people are going to get banned just because you got doxxed? I highly doubt that would happen, and so it is an inconsistent standard, and it shouldn't really happen. This is a slippery slope of like, a lot of people might be cheering this on, but you have to be careful. This is like the Tulsi Gabbard standard or the cinema standard or Manchin or whatever, where even when your side seems to be getting what they want and seems to be winning, you have to call out unfairness when you see it. So that's the independent, objective mindset. Like, you have to be the bigger person to say, you know what, even though this benefits us, our side, I'm still going to say it's wrong because it's not fair. And so, right, even though Elon got Twitter, even though he seems to be favoring the other side now, you should still say, oh, it's wrong. You shouldn't have done that. That's what you have to stand up and do. And that's what I always respect, right? That's what breaks sort of the hive mind best. That's why I respect Tulsi so much. It's like, it's easy for people on the other side to criticize like what the Democratic Party is doing or whatever, but it's very hard for somebody to break ranks and say, you know what, even though I'm on this side, I don't agree with it. Then everybody is a little bit shocked, like, okay, now we really are going to think about it. She's not doing it just for partisan reasons, like, oh, because she's on the other side, of course she's going to say that they're bad.